I want to acknowledge too the extraordinary dedication and work, the love that Walter Meekhak and his family have shown in founding the Alana and Madeline Foundation, and the continuing work it does, an exercise in love across the years that will be a wonderful monument of love arising out of the saddest of sad times. Walter, you've done an amazing job. Now, as the Federal Communications Minister, this issue of online safety is a matter of enormous concern to the Abbott government, to all of us. We have to recognise that there has been an extraordinary paradigm shift in the way we communicate. The internet itself really only became commercial 20 years ago. Yet now the rapid proliferation of smartphones means that most people, 2/3 of Australians in fact, and about the same percentage of Danes, I understand, have a smartphone in their possession, which means that they are connected to the internet 24/7. Before too long, most people in the world will be connected to the internet 24/7. This is an extraordinary change in the way in which humans connect and relate to each other. But it also carries with it, as well as all of those opportunities with which we're so familiar, considerable dangers and misconceptions. People still think that on the internet, in the words of the famous New Yorker cartoon, nobody knows you're a dog. But the truth is, as we should be becoming more and more aware, that on the internet, increasingly, not only does, if not everybody, lots of people know you are a dog, but they know what breed of dog you are, who your doggy friends are, and indeed how many fleas you might have on your tail. So the internet is both anonymous, and it is both an anonymous platform at one level, but also a very, very public one. And in that sense, I believe the work of this foundation is so important, because what it is seeking to do is not, as our predecessors did at one point, to try to filter the internet, to try to build a sort of Australian version of the great big Chinese, wall of proxy servers. But what this foundation is seeking to do, and it is entirely consistent with our government's commitment, is to raise the awareness and discernment of children and teachers so that they can better take responsibility for themselves. There is a real risk if people think governments can be the big brother and can solve all you can outsource the protection of your children online to the government. Now, even if that were feasible, that would probably not be desirable, but it isn't feasible. So the answer is in greater awareness and responsibility, and that is why this initiative is so profoundly important. Now, just a little bit about the government that Tony leads, that Mr Abbott leads, and which I'm a member, is undertaking. We are working to establish a Children's E-Safety Commissioner who will take a national leadership role in online safety for children. This is going to be a critical single point of contact for people who are concerned about dangerous material online and, in particular but not exclusively, cyberbullying. All too often, children, parents, teachers do not recognise that what used to pass for nasty, gossipy conversation behind the bike shed, once amplified online, can be absolutely crushing to the point of completely destructive. The ability to have a single point of contact so that offending material will be taken down is going to be extremely important. We're also examining right now our existing legislation to see how we can create a new and more straightforward, simplified cyberbullying law. Cyberbullying is, of course, illegal as it is, but we need to work more closely with community, and in particular this foundation, to make sure we do that more effectively. And I want to commend the foundation, Judith Slocum, CEO, for your close involvement in a major conference earlier this year, which recommended that this further legislation be developed. So, providing parents and teachers with greater skills, greater knowledge to be more discerning, ensuring that our younger Australians are digital natives, have the power, the tools of discernment, and above all that they recognise that in the online world there has been a complete overturning of a fundamental human paradigm. Throughout all of human history, we've had to go to great efforts to remember things, to write them down, to paint them on the walls of caves, to learn the great sagas of your Viking ancestors, Your Royal Highness. All of those things were attempts to remember stuff. Nowadays, the problem is that it's almost impossible to delete anything. And in a world where everything is there forever, where the norm has become remembering as opposed to forgetting, for young people to understand that what they do online today could be with them for the rest of their lives is absolutely critical. Now, we are going to commit $7.5 million of funding so that schools can access online safety programs and have the opportunity to work with groups like the Alana and Madeline Foundation. We are very committed, Walter, to the work that your foundation is undertaking. It's a matter of vital importance, and your approach is so consonant with the philosophy of our government because it is based on responsibility, awareness, information, discernment, and above all, people taking responsibility for their families and for their own lives. So thank you very much. I want to commend the Foundation and thank their Royal Highnesses for coming here today and showing their commitment, which will be so important in raising the awareness of these great efforts. Thank you.